Jan Asti ko mahanguna Kirtanateva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vrajet Kalidosa Nide Rajan Astyeko Mahanguna Kirtanateva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vraje Kalidosa Nide Rajan Astyeko Mahanguna Kirtanat eva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vraje
Kaledosha Nide Rajan Asti Eko Mahanguna Kirtanateva Krishnasya Mukha Sangha Param Vrajet
Kaledosha Nide Rajan Asti Eko Mahanguna Kirtanat Eva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vrajet
Kaledosha Nidhe Rajan Asti Eko Mahan Guna Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vraje
Ladies,
Kaledosha Nide Rajan Asti Eko Mahanguna Kirtanat Eva Krishnasya Mukha Sangha Param Vraja Kaledosha Nide Rajan Asti Eko Mahanguna Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukha Sangha Param Vraje
Kali of the age of Kali, Dosanide in the ocean of faults, Rajan, O King, Asti, there is, He, certainly, Ikaha, one, Mahan, very great, Gunaha, good quality, Kirtana, by chanting, Eva, certainly, Krishnasya, of the holy name of Krishna, Mukta Sangha, liberated from material bondage, Param, to the transcendental spiritual kingdom, Vraje, one can go. My dear King, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Purport. After mentioning the innumerable faults of this age, Sukadeva Goswami now mentions its one brilliant aspect. Just as one powerful king can kill innumerable thieves, one brilliant spiritual quality can destroy all the contamination of this age. It is impossible to overestimate the importance of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, especially in this fallen age. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyanandana Salakaya Shakshuram Minitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the ocean of folds are listed, all these qualities of the age of Kali. And the Acharyas have commented that these material folds are like thieves. They steal away our energy, our vital force. They steal away our consciousness somehow or other. All these weaknesses of the age of Kali, which are all there within us, they drain us spiritually. Bahu sakayinantascha. One becomes, the intelligence becomes many branched, it is said in the Bhagavad Gita. Splayed out, because we think that maybe here is some enjoyment. Maybe I've just discovered this new thing, and possibly there is something there. Some enjoyment, yes. I hold on very carefully to the old enjoyment, although it's not satisfying, but still it's better than nothing. So I'm not letting it go for nothing in the world, but I keep my eyes open. I've got my girlfriend on the hand, but I'm still looking at others. In this way, the material energy steals away our precious time. Time is indeed very precious, because time we can never regain, and time is very short. Life is so short, and to actually surrender to Krishna is not just a matter of a decision, or not just a matter of a bold declaration, but rather a matter of step by step making commitment and letting go of all the material attachments. That takes time to fully rely on Krishna completely. The Bhagavatam gives us some examples of very transcendental personalities. One person that comes to mind is the sage Dadichi. Dadichi is known as the one who gave his name. Dadichi, what was the situation was the demigods needed a powerful weapon, a weapon that could kill Vritasura, and thus the sage Dadichi, he was very powerful and very elevated. So if they would make a weapon of his bones, then surely that would be effective. So had they been informed. So they just went to him and said, could we have your bones, please? Basically, they asked him for some charity first. They didn't just ask him for the bones, they asked him nicely, we've come for some charity. Oh yes, whatever you desire. Then they go, your bones, please. So that is an example of the Bhagavatam, which is extraordinary, because who is ready to give the bones? So I'll give you donation, no problem. That we can do. I'll give you some of my energy, that we can do, but my bones, if you want my bones, that is a sensitive thing. So here we see how Dadichi was so transcendental to, there was no question of any bodily identification. He was completely on the platform of being an eternal spiritual being and having no real relationship with this material body. We don't quite experience it like that. So in this way, we are practicing spiritual life, but we are also feeling the pressure of the material energy and of whatever material designations we have identified with. That is still playing a part in us. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote this nice letter about Prahlad Maharaj. Now Prahlad Maharaj is another extremely transcendental personality because he's fearless, even in pits of snake or even while boiled in hot oil and these kind of situations, which I can imagine that one would take shelter of Krishna when one has faith in Krishna, because where else to take shelter in trouble? Where else to turn to? But without fear, in a pit with snakes, one is enough. What to speak of? And in a pit where you can't get out. And Prahlad was totally absorbed in remembrance of the Supreme Lord. So this is what is the full transcendental platform. So we are chanting Hare Krishna, but we are not just quite on that level of Prahlad. Now Srila Bhaktisiddhanta writes in his letter, he said Prahlad, he could see the Supreme Personality of Godhead everywhere. But his father, Hiranyakasipu, he couldn't see him anywhere. That is the situation. So, and then he writes, and we are in between. So that is our position, in between Prahlad and Hiranyakasipu. So from that platform we begin. But there is one good quality in this age, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not only available in this age, it is also available in other ages, in other times. It is eternal, so it is always available. But in this age, first of all, there is the added mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Katanchana smite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet. It is said that with the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, difficult things become easy, and without it, easy things are difficult. That is the first aspect of that mercy. Another aspect of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that he widely distributes this mercy, and he orders every man within the universe to take that mission of widely distributing this chanting of the holy name over the entire planet. So in this way, the influence of the holy name is spreading both around us as well as within. And of course, we are now in Radhadesh. We are now in a retreat place, away from the world. Lots of trees and time to chant amongst ourselves, like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, along with with his associates in the house of Srivas. In that way, we are chanting. Now, chanting chanting doesn't come alone. The chanting of the holy name comes along with hearing. Srila Prabhupada points out, attentive chanting means to hear oneself chanting. So hearing is automatically involved in the chanting. And there is a third factor also, remembering. Remembering the Supreme Lord. Just as Prahlad remembered. He remembered the Lord. And he remembered his relationship with the Lord. He remembered how he was eternal. He remembered how he was the eternal servant of the Lord. He remembered the mercy of the Lord, the kindness of the Lord, that the Lord would always give him shelter. Therefore, he could be fearless. But when one forgets, then fearlessness is not possible. Bhayam dvitya abhinivisita syat. Hare Krishna. Welcome. So, fearlessness is only possible when we are never separated from Krishna, when we always remember Krishna. So these three combined, hearing, chanting, and remembering. And remembering is not just a matter of intellectually remembering. Okay, I know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because that kind of remembering doesn't really touch the heart. The heart has to become involved for something to remain with us. One cannot, on the strength of intelligence, constantly remember. That's very difficult. But when the heart becomes involved, then we can remember. When we actually begin to appreciate Krishna, when we see that Krishna is wonderful, the name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. So, the name Krishna, okay, is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The name Krishna means all attractive. We know all these things. But the next step is, how is he all attractive? We must become attracted. We must allow ourselves to become thoroughly attracted, completely attracted. There is the third verse of the Bhagavatam is Nikamakalpatara Galitam Phalam Sukhamukat Amritadrava Samyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. And then Laya, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this word Laya is one of the 8 ecstatic transformations. Rasamalayam, it means from ras, from tasting the Bhagavatam, the result is laya. And laya means to faint. So there he explains, one should hear the Bhagavatam until one faints. And then one cannot hear. Then when one comes back to his senses, one should hear again and then faint again. And so that is the way to hear the Bhagavatam. Jai Sri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. So, appreciating Krishna, discovering Krishna's amazing qualities, discovering Krishna's kindness, discovering Krishna's causeless mercy, where it is not deserved. The Acharyas speak about Putana. Putana, she didn't deserve any mercy. Why did she deserve any mercy? I said, well, she gave milk to Krishna. Yeah, but I mean, there was poison in it, so that wasn't like an act of love. She was trying to kill him. No, but the poison, okay. She gave poison. Yes, that is true. But Krishna still accepted. He still accepted that she also gave the milk. She could have given just poison. At least she offered the milk, right? So that was good. Of course, he did punish her a bit, right? I mean, as he was taking the milk, he also grabbed her breast with his little hands and squeezed very hard. And it was so painful, and so extremely painful. And then she began to suck out the milk, the poison as well, and then her life air also. And the pain was just so much that she couldn't maintain her disguise. And she took her original form, which was rather on the large side, as we remember. It is described she was 20 kilometers tall. So a rather tall lady. And if she became that tall, what happened to the house of Nanda Maharaj? No problem, because due to the pain, she ran out of the house and she became only big outside. And then with giant steps, she tried to run out of Vrindavan while pulling the child over her breast, but to no avail. The life air, Krishna took all her life air along with the poison and the milk, and she dropped dead on the edge of Vrindavan in the favorite fruit orchard of Kamsa and crushed all the fruit trees. This is also Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And then she was promoted to the spiritual world, that witch, right? And she became one of a Datri, one of Krishna's nurses. So Srila Rupa Goswami highlights this point in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as most significant, and it is most significant. So we can see here is Putana, an ocean of faults. Was there any doubt about that? Then somehow or other, Krishna very liberally counted the offering of milk as devotional service. So in this way we can appreciate that in the midst of our weaknesses, in the midst of our faults, in the midst of our lack of qualification, at least we chant Hare Krishna. And it's hard to chant Hare Krishna alone. It is not so easy to maintain the strength. Today we're already fasting for Lord Radhadesh's appearance, right? And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking in the context of this weekend, I was thinking that the demon was somehow or other fighting with the Supreme Lord, and he was fighting with a club. But at one point he dropped his club. So if I may for a moment compare the club to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, how often are we dropping our club? That is the question. Are we also dropping our only weapon, the holy name, which can actually help us overcome our demoniac mentality? I think so. Sometimes we do. And to different degrees, right? We may drop it completely. We may just stop chanting. We may not finish our rounds. That is a lesser degree. Or we may finish them, but we may not really chant them very attentively. We may just chant mechanically and so on. So even mechanical rounds, you say we dropped them. We didn't really take shelter. So the purpose of these gatherings of just chanting and spending a lot of time in kirtan and just hearing and chanting is to flood our consciousness. When the consciousness is flooded, then all these material weaknesses cannot surface. They are just totally under. Everything goes under. A whole landscape goes under. We can see in Mayapur sometimes. I have been through some of those floods, and it was exciting. Swimming to Mangalarti. We had a Radhastami, and we were just scooping up the Ganga water right from the stage in front of Radha Madhava. And the devotees, and we're doing the Abhishek, and devotees were swimming in the water and having a kirtan. A flood. So it is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that the flood in Mayapur represents the flooding of Harinam Sankirtan. So sometimes we may envision that as Pritivityachi Yatanagara Digram, that flooding means that the holy name reaches every town and village, but we can also see it reaches every heart. It reaches every little crack in our consciousness, every little hidden corner. It will find it and will enter there. So in this way, the holy name will enter there, will echo there. Once the holy name has entered, it continues to echo. It continues to remain in our consciousness. It awakens some of our original attachment. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sada Kabunai Shravanadi Sudha Chitta Karya Uda. And in that way, some little attachment develops. Just like we think, yeah, that was good. A lot of chanting of Hare Krishna. Let's do it again. And this is our remembrance that is growing. And then along with hearing about Krishna and his amazing qualities, remembering Putana, that gives us courage. Remembering how kind Krishna was in dealing with Kaliya. He didn't kill him. He just nicely sent him back to his island, Ramanaka, and said, you'll stay there. He said, and don't worry, you can go now, because my footprints are on your head. So in this way, Krishna is also kind to his enemies. Because ultimately Krishna doesn't have enemies. Krishna ultimately is the well-wisher of all living beings, Suridam Sarvadehinam, including the demons. So that's good for us. Including the demons, there is some Krishna's kindness. So we are not only here for some amazing musical experience. There may be very expert kirtan leaders, some more than others, but that's not the essence. The essence is simply all that mercy that is there within the holy name. Just this incredible mercy that is available. With the added mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All that is available. So, in this way, we are very fortunate that we can be part of such events, and let it give some inspiration to pick up the quality of our rounds, to recommit. What is the point of retreating if it is not strengthening our commitment? Today is it's also a day that we are trying to do something extraordinary. There is Nitya Kriya, the everyday routine, and Naimitika Kriya. Naimitika Kriya are the special activities that one performs sometimes on special occasions. So by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, there is a special festival, a festival of the holy name. And that festival gives us an opportunity to lift ourselves up from our everyday state, where we have long come to the state of complacency in our spiritual life. First it begins with some inspiration, and then we come to the complacency level. Complacency means it become a routine, and now we have to maintain somehow or other. So this Naimitika Kriya, these special occasions, are opportunities to make a special effort. And when we make a special effort to enter into these events, then they will lift us up above our normal state of complacency, and we'll find new inspiration which will bring new life to our everyday practices, and we get a taste of how far it can go, how far we can go. And maybe we'll go there again. And maybe one day that will become the everyday level. So in this way, these special events bring new life to our everyday practice, and also lift us up to a higher experience of what Krishna consciousness actually is. So if there are any questions, then yeah, I'll try to answer.
We hear that chanting the holy name gives a lot of benefits, but I'm wondering, because I also heard that we have to make a conscious effort to not only chant attentively, but also to mobilize in such a way that our chanting becomes not just mechanical, like you were saying, but completely transcendental, where we become completely absorbed. So I'm wondering, is there a difference? Should we try to really do everything in our power to chant accordingly, or is it okay to just, chant whatever comes out?
Both. Both. When we are chanting our japa, then we make a very concerted effort to chant very nice and attentive, to hear our chanting. And we put everything else aside. We just try to chant continuously, not break all the time. Like, the best is at least chant our 16 rounds uninterrupted. If we could only do that. Of course, that's the best. That may not be possible, but so that we can get a deep absorption. We just chant, and we try to hear ourselves chanting. That is there. But then there's also just the name, right? Which is with us throughout the day. I mean, we could in between things even say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. We can. Prabhupada used to say 16 rounds on the beats, 100 rounds off the beats. So it's not that the rounds are over and no more chanting. We can put on kirtan, listen to kirtan. Hearing will very much help also to see. Now we can try to chant attentively by some means of concentration. So I have to concentrate. I have to be very serious, I have to concentrate and chant attentively. I have to hear every mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, I'm trying to concentrate. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, I'm trying to concentrate. It's very hard. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, trying to concentrate. Force. I try to force this mind to concentrate. That is one level. Another level is to be absorbed, to be attracted. When we are thoroughly attracted to Krishna, because we remember Krishna in all his wonderful qualities and so on, that from the heart we are attracted, then automatically we'll have the focus of the chanting. So we can see when we're lacking this absorption, this actually love for Krishna's amazing nature and qualities, then concentration is something where we have to force ourselves. But when we are having that love, then we're drawn to Krishna. So as we are maturing and as we are increasing our discovery of who Krishna is and embracing his amazing qualities in our heart, then we can chant really attentively and with love, and then the mind will not go everywhere. But since we are shallow and have no love for Krishna, the mind is all over the place. Yeah. We all have that.
Maharaj, I have a question about the chanting in the Harinam. When we are in ecstasy, you see people, they get attracted, although they have no knowledge about the chanting, but they are so ecstatic. Then if we could have that faith, that inspiration, that attractiveness, then we become fortunate.
So the question is about or the comment is about the Harinam, and when we become ecstatic in the chanting, that it attracts people who just become swept up in this chanting, and then we can start to appreciate how we are actually fortunate. Yes. Yes, so Sankirtan, spreading the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and of the glorification of Krishna, also books and all these things, can give us that experience, either Harinam or book distribution. When the mercy is going out and we see how it transforms people, then we can really appreciate the glory of the name, and it can increase our ecstasy. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, it is mentioned that whatever we have realized of the fruits of love of God, if we distribute that, then in the end we'll have more than we had before. So certainly Sankirtan is a means to increase our inspiration. But now in more recent years we have such events like this. Like in previous times we never had. Like I can't recall some big gathering where we'd all come together to chant, to just chant Hare Krishna. I don't remember that. We would do Harinam, we would speak about Sankirtan, we would speak about flooding the world, and now we are coming here to chant. But we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also did that. So there's also a time to just stop everything, forget who we are, stop the restless mind, and sit down and chant, and then later bring that back to Sankirtan. Yeah, it's not that there is no time to withdraw and to absorb. That will fructify later into the ecstatic chanting and sharing of the holy name and publicly glorifying Krishna. So both must be there, Harinam in public and also this chanting here like we're doing now. Yes.
Could you please tell us what is the best way to make the 16 rounds ongoing if you have a workload? On the days 10 hours and in the morning 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's not so easy to get up, so
Yeah.
I know it's the best time to make it before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a tip or what's the best way?
Tips for chanting in the midst of a busy work life, and then somehow or other 5 o'clock getting up is easy, but still being awake at work at 11 is difficult. Things like that. How to manage 16 rounds. Yeah, there are different. First of all, to chant 16 rounds requires a plan. You cannot just say, "Oh, I'm going to chant 16 rounds. It's just as it comes. Yeah, I'm going to try, and then it's all going to happen." it will not happen. Some days it will, and some days it will not. Every day we chant by a plan. Like now, I avoid people like anything in the morning so that I can chant. This morning some people came into my room and I had a no disturb sign on my clothes. Yeah? They knocked on the door and then just put a no disturb sign on my clothes. Because there needs to be a plan. So part of the plan, early morning and late night are not good friends. Some people say you should set the alarm clock at night, not in the morning. So go to bed early. The earlier we go to bed, the earlier we can get up. So that's hard, because the mind doesn't want to. But that's where we have to make a sacrifice, is to go to bed earlier. That's one thing that will help those few extra rounds in the morning. Then Prabhupada used to have a pharmacy, and Prabhupada, I'm supposed to stop at 8:45, which I'm going to do. And Prabhupada used to prescribe medicine. So Prabhupada said, chant 4 rounds before meals, 3 times a day, and 4 rounds before rest. Like taking a medicine. In other words, it can be broken up in chant a certain number in the morning, something your minimum in the morning, and then reserve a time later in the day. But that time is your chanting time. Then it will be done with a good plan. And I go on walks. When I have rounds left, I go in the day, I go on a walk. Because it's easy. You walk from your house, you have 6 rounds left, you walk 3 rounds away from your house, then you walk back and then the other 3 are also done. Like that. Those are my tricks. Even under an umbrella I go and walk. And Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Kadamba Kanana Swami ki.
Krishna. Krishna